Hey parents, we've got just a few days left until Christmas and Kwanzaa, and normally this would be the time of year when holiday celebrations are in full swing. But with 2020 being what it is, that's not the case this year. And it is causing anger and frustration and disappointment and sadness. So the topic for today's Tuesday tip is little kids, big feelings. As a side note, this also works for middle-sized kids, big kids, and adults too. Fair warning, today's video is a little bit longer because this is a topic that I feel is really, really important, not just while kids are little, but all the way through their development and on the way to becoming those awesome adults that we want them to be. So, thank you in advance for bearing with me. Universal truth, it is really, really hard to watch our kids hurting. And it's natural, because we love them, it is natural to want to fix what they're feeling. We want to cheer them up, we want to distract them. So we offer them ice cream or cookies, or we buy them a new toy, anything to cheer them up and to make up for some of the losses that they felt this year. And in the short term, it does do that. But here's the thing, in the long term, if we constantly attempt to fix our kids' sadness or frustration or disappointment or anger, we're teaching them two things. The first thing is that their natural, normal human emotions are actually problems to be solved. And the second thing is that it requires someone else to solve them. So let that sink in for a minute. When we, in our loving and well-intentioned way, try to distract our kids from what they're feeling, we're teaching them that their emotions are not actually to be felt, they're to be fixed. And that it's someone else's responsibility to do that for them because they're not capable of doing that for themselves. So, what do we do instead of reaching for the box of turtles or dropping another gift in the Amazon shopping cart? And the best way that we can help our kids feel their own emotions, process them, and get practice at developing the self-regulation skills that we want them to have to be those resilient, healthy, happy adults is simply to be present when they're feeling what they feel, soothe them and comfort them, and help provide them with the language that they need. So for example, with a toddler or a preschooler, when they're crying because they see grandma over FaceTime and they can't touch her or play with her, you can hold them and soothe them and give them the language, saying things like, I know you're disappointed and sad because you miss grandma and you want to give her a hug. I miss grandma too. Can I give you a big hug? So you're present, you're acknowledging what they feel, and you're offering them an emotional outlet that doesn't involve a distraction technique. With older kids, this is more like getting more information from them, saying things like, tell me more about that. What are you thinking? What are you feeling? Or you can use techniques like mirroring, which is really just repeating back to them in a non-judgmental way so you can get more information. So when your 8-year-old is stomping their feet and saying, I'm so angry, all you're doing is saying, you're really angry. I wanted to see my cousins. You wanted to see your cousins. You can also use labeling, which is helping them reframe what they're feeling. Something like, it sounds like you're really angry that you're missing out on that holiday party with your friends this year. And they might agree with you, or they might burst into tears and say, I'm not angry, I'm sad. But either way, you're helping them name their emotions, which helps them tame their emotions. And it really gives them a window into what they're feeling as well. With much older kids, they're getting hit the hardest because they have the most memories to draw from and they're missing out on those celebrations the most. But the good news is that the older they are, the better those conversations can be. And it's really great for you to share how you're feeling too, because it's important for kids of all ages to see that adults have emotions, that we feel them, and that we are learning how to work through them too. Because if we put on a false happy face, all we're doing is teaching our kids that you need to suppress what you're feeling, and believe me, they're going to know. And they're also not going to want to ruin your day or your good mood, so they're going to push down what they're feeling too. So these strategies work for kids of all ages and all types, and they work especially well for kids who are neurodiverse, because kids who are blessed with neurodiversity feel everything really, really big. They feel sadness really big, and they feel excitement really, really big, and they feel disappointment really, really big. So by giving them the time and the language and your presence to process what they're feeling, you're gonna get a really beautiful window into the world as they see it. And you're gonna have some really tangible, teachable moments for helping them develop those emotional self-regulation skills. Now, I'm not advocating that your family never has ice cream or never goes shopping. I'm just suggesting that you have a treat because you want to, because it's delicious and you enjoy it, rather than as a way to get your 4-year-old to stop crying. So, as I mentioned, these strategies work at the holidays, but they also work all year round. And the best part about helping your kids with their emotions by being present and guiding them is that it completely relieves you from the responsibility of being responsible for their happiness. Because if their emotions are not a problem, then you don't have to fix them. And this also works for many, many other things. You've got a toddler with a broken toy, no problem. You've got an 8-year-old who's angry with their sibling, no problem. You've got a teenager who's in the middle of a text fight with their bestie, no problem. You've got it covered by being present and letting them feel their emotions. So, wherever you are and whatever you celebrate, I'm wishing you all the joy of the season and health and happiness. And have a wonderful next week from GPS.